Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Sharron Martin, and one of the jobs that I seem to have is to be bringing through messages from our beautiful Lady Gaia. And I visit her regularly and get shown imagery and hear messages and have conversation with her about what is going on in our world. And this month has been an exceptionally busy time for me, and so they've been a little bit less regular. However, there are very powerful messages that are here in a little bit of a disconnected way. So I just feel that my guidance is to give them to you anyway, and you can make of them what you will. So a few weeks ago, I went, as I do regularly in the morning, I go to the inner earth to visit with Lady Gaia, and I was shown on the way down. I often get given the flavour or the tone or the resonance, I suppose, of the time, the day, the moment in our world. And I was shown this imagery of the Queen's Guards, and you know, the Queen of England's guards, they have the most magnificent, tall, beautiful, mostly stallions, I believe, maybe geldings, but they're large. They're all bigger than 16 hands, and here they were representing themselves. The guards were mounted in full regalia, and the horses are beautifully, exquisitely presented as always. And collectively as a group they were moving on out. And on questioning Gaia about this, she informed me that they were leaving and that this was a representation of the old guard exiting our world. So a few days later, when I dropped down to connect in again, the interior of the earth and Lady Gaia's cave was filled with our indigenous chiefs. So they were there in their full ceremonial costumes, and they were, many of them anyway, mounted on their ponies and horses. So not all of them were mounted, but many of them were, and they were carrying their pennants and their staffs. And Gaia told me the custodianship of the earth has been returned to our indigenous peoples. And she said we must all recognise that the earth is to be held in honour and reverence, as are all of her creatures. Humans are only one of the species present on the earth, and we must work in alignment with nature and be the caretakers, not the takers. And so for me, this is music to my ears. And she says, Gaia says, it's from the heart. Remember, it all must come from the heart. It is in this being in the heart that will most quickly bring you back to your bliss. Use that and gratitude to be in the best place. And then a little bit later on, a few days after that, there were very, very straight, they looked very physical arrows. They were black arrows, they looked like weapons, and they were being fired off in the inner earth today. And the message about that was that there is intentional targeting by the higher dimensions directed at and into karmic density to release more that needs to be brought to light. The next message came for the 1010 portal, and the message around that was that this is clearing the heart for higher love. So I often drop down to see her on this magnificent dragon who takes me through the timelines. And so a couple of days after the portal, that's where the indigenous people were being recognised and acknowledged, and Gaia was blessing them with flower petals and blessed water, and we all bowed humbly to this parade of beings. Power to the people who will not abuse the power. And in this time of great change, let us acknowledge the breath, the principle of flow, the movement of particles, of matter or quantum, where the breath in creates a still point to adjoin the breath out. And so it is also in the opposite. The still point bookends each in and out breath, where all can hold a sense of stillness, of oneness, a pause of contemplation and reflection to enable a feeling of being present in the now, in the timelessness, infinite pause. And Gaia says to remember to be soft, to be loving, to be in your divine feminine space and your playful child, lightness and bliss. So more recently, on the way down to Gaia, I got shown this musical energetic note that looked very much like an inverted V with a flat section at the bottom, and she told me that this indicates 0 point, that we have a sharp incline to a point, that it's a dynamic and strong catalyst movement for change to bring as many as possible up to alignment levels for fifth dimensional frequency, and that there would be short, sharp repetition with this end goal in mind of this aligning up. And in the drum, in the cave today, in her cave today, the drums were being beating the drums of a new time and era. So a little bit later, this is what Gaia has said. As we move through these times, accelerated energies are coming to the planet. They are designed to catalyze change, evoke memories, shift timelines, or encourage you to shift to higher timelines, to increase your spin rate, centrifugal in nature, to help with integration, both fourth and fifth dimensions, to catalyze DNA upgrades and activations, to remove any lasting density and memory from cellular storage, including that is stored in the bone, blood, tissues and fluids. She says you need to attune to your heart, follow its guidance, as you will be prompted and nudged to be where you ought to be at this time, especially regarding your work, purpose and location. Follow your heart guidance. At the moment, nudges and promptings ignored may quickly become a giant shove, she says. It really is time for all the players and pieces to be in the appropriate square on the chessboard. The new game is about to begin. Nudges and promptings accelerated can look like a job dissolving, a conflict that erupts, a letting go. People falling out of your life, accidents that occur that may injure your body, many ways that exist to wake you up to see your internal truth, your direction and purpose. Things that cause you to drop out of your busy thinking mind and into your heart. And if you are not listening to your inner guidance, urgency is becoming the new way, she says. So in the inner earth, at the moment, there is this spherical black object, like a Chinese puzzle box. It's situated there on the cave, and it's starting to open up a little. It's starting to have some of its pieces expand out. And as I am sitting with Gaia, she's saying the evolution of the earth has taken many convoluted turns, and she's showing me how in this spiraling fashion, it still has sometimes dipped backwards and up and down, So for a long time now, she has shown me that ascension, that the process of ascension, the movement of ascension, if you were to give it a line, is a little bit like a spiral, and you spiral around, and in each revolution of each of those spirals, you're moving up a little, and it's the same for the planet. But in each of those revolutions, there are aspects where there is release, the release of density to create greater space, for then more light and higher consciousness to come in, higher codes and activations. So then there's space for that to come in, and then there is time for those to be integrated and assimilated, and then on to the next bit. So sometimes this also has this sort of up and down motion, and sometimes it also looks as though there's this double helix trajectory. We might be going in two opposite directions at times. So that's the imagery I'm showing. Many beings have come to support at this time to ensure the success of this project, or it impacts on the future development of the universe. It will benefit all beings on the earth, and all planets in the system will benefit from the evolution of the earth. Because if you like, it is held in a field, it's the quantum, where one affects the all, just as what happens here on the earth amongst people and beings. So Gaia has been in a bit of rest, rejuvenation, stasis of late. She's been doing a lot of resting in a box. Very reminds me very much of the casket that Sleeping Beauty is found in. And so she's saying that that's why she's become so drained at the moment, because it's just taken such a long time. This whole process has taken much longer than was ever anticipated. And although we're in this acceleration process now, she's talking about over a period of time, and that's why she's called in so much help to ensure success at this time. So we are returning to paradise. That is what she says. The love of the planet is in its tipping point. She says that light workers have done well, and even many unawakened human beings have been operating in a state of kindness. So on the scale that kindness sits in a zone of neutrality. So this has also helped to raise and lift the vibration of our planet. Gaia says that animals have to go through their own process. They have a lot of cellular memory. They have a lot of DNA fear, and it needs to be released through generational breeding and through unpatterning. It will happen in an experiential sense for animals. They're extremely empathic, and they have an understanding of the change that is imminent for them. Animals, they too are tired. So a little bit more about this piece of equipment, this black spherical piece of equipment. Gaia says it's a multifunctional piece. It acts as a ballast. It has many advanced technological functions, and it's being kept quiet with all of the things that it will do and perform. She's taken my hands. We stand together. The interior of the planet, is jam-packed with craft. At the moment, has been for a little bit of time now, and this is all in preparation for what is to come. She advises all of us to rest well, to be mindful of one's well-being throughout all levels, so that when this shift occurs, each is in the best place possible to cope, and that it is close. So then, a couple of days after that, on the way to Gaia in the cave in the centre of the earth, there's a lot of rainbow light and bands or striations, very fine in streams, very long horizontal bands, not exactly straight and symmetrical, but wispy and cloud-like horizontal bands. and they are heightening the frequencies at the moment. So just that's the effect that they're having. It's very fine and it's increasing the vibration. There's action happening in the cave when I get down there, and a sense of preparation for something. So Gaia showed me this vision of an explosion of rainbow light. Yep, that's exactly what it looks like, an explosion of rainbow light. Gaia says it's plasmic and it will enhance and fine-tune what is going on in and on the planet at the moment. I'm getting little inferences that this could be the sonic boom, that it could relate to the 1111 gateway, this kind of push, really, this push over the rainbow bridge. I'm not too certain about this, but these are just little bits that are coming in at the moment. And then a couple of days later, very dense air on the way to the cave. Difficult to have very good vision. It feels very compacted, challenging to move through. But then there's this woohoo and a sense of freedom. Everyone's breaking free of their constraints, of their patterns, their habits, their past memories, both brain and cell, to emancipate their soul from the constrictions of the 3D template. So this was right towards the end of October, and this, I'm told, is both on an individual and a collective level. So for some, this means in the 3-dimensional level, and for some it means 3D and 4-dimensional level. But each, it will affect each in wherever they're at in their own point of growth and evolution. So there's kind of an energy of movement, business and anticipation, expectation in the cave today. There's white crates, white boxes being loaded up for distribution on the external of the planet through the planetary portals. And Gaia is saying the time is upon us. So I'm seeing someone on the surface of the planet and they're staring at the sun. And what I hear is, it's a solar collapse. I see it as though the sun bursts like a giant balloon filled with this yellowish liquid that has quite a thickness to it, low viscosity, and it's as though it leaks out as a horizontal stream, almost as though the firmament sort of is holding it up. And then there's this new one that bursts forth from the earth. It comes from the center of the earth. It's to take its place. It's to take the place of the sun. It's more white, and it arrives like a rocket or a comet thrust from the earth. And the message I get about it is, it's our new time. Gestation time is over. It's a magma explosion. It's from the heart of Gaia. And the new sun is this energetic holding and nourishing for humanity and the planet. It's to shift frequency. It's new, it's higher, it's enabling rather than disabling. Gaia is relieved and celebrating, and this is soon, the next few months. So she is saying there are several possible dates that exist for this, and that we will be held in suspense regarding this. It's a flexible time based on other aspects such as collective frequencies, tipping points, assimilation of data ready for the new, and for redistribution of coding, of DNA, of new species, of technological inventions, of sources of supply regarding new Earth templates. And all of this is in situ, all awaiting perfect divine timing. My sense of this is that it will be before the end of January 2020. And Gaia says, know this, all is well, there is no turning back. So something I wanted to mention from an earlier time is that in the cave I watched watched one day as these crystal rods were being moved, and I was told that these crystal rods held the Adamantine codes for humanity for the year 2020. And these, there's kind of this cross section of the crystal. They look very much like a male quartz. They have a cross section of being octagonal, and the codes, the Adamantine codes, are held within those. And my information was that there's one of these for each being, and they were being moved out of their storage into a new type of storage. They were being buried in a very, looked like a mixture of different sand, different types of sand. They were being buried in that, all separate to one another. And I was told that this was to protect them when the sonic boom came, so they didn't crack, as there would be much resonance in the crystals on the earth, and so they were being packed away for safety. So that's just another interesting thing. So anyway, yeah, lots of bits and pieces, and take from it what you will. I don't hold it personally. This just seems to be some aspect of my work here in the world, is to receive this information and pass it on. And I know that there's probably gaps in this information, and I just feel that I need to get it out anyway. So yeah, much love to you. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe. I also offer one-on-one sessions in energy healing and Akashic readings. And for those of you seeking clarity of life purpose and direction, the instructions to book a session are below. Infinite blessings and much love to you.